I'm 94 and live alone. These 5 morning habits keep me healthier than people half my age. Have you ever tried to open a simple jar of jam in the morning and suddenly felt like your hands didn't belong to you anymore? Maybe you blamed it on just getting older, or perhaps you laughed it off. These lids are impossible, but deep down, a quiet thought lingers. When did simple things become hard? If this feels familiar, I want you to know you're not alone. I've had this same conversation with dozens of patients in their 60s, 70s, even into their 90s. These aren't just stories about sore joints or trouble sleeping. These are stories about identity, independence, and the quiet fear that we might be slowly disappearing from the life we used to live with ease. But what if I told you that the way your morning begins, those first 30 minutes after you open your eyes, could quietly shape the entire course of your day, and even add years of healthier, more joyful life? In this video, I'll gently walk you through 5 morning habits that I've seen transform my patients' energy, balance, mood, and memory without any fancy supplements or extreme routines. Let's take this journey together. Part 1. The first light while your mornings begin with your eyes. Most people don't realize this, but your eyes aren't just for seeing, they're also a direct messenger to your brain's master clock. And for those of us in our later decades, this clock needs all the help it can get. You see, our circadian rhythm, the inner cycle that tells us when to sleep, wake, digest, and even repair our tissues, tends to weaken with age. That's why many of my older patients struggle with waking up too early, taking long naps during the day, and yet still feeling tired. But what if resetting that internal clock didn't require any medication? Just light. One of the simplest, most powerful habits I teach my patients is to gently expose their eyes to natural light within the first hour of waking up. No sunglasses, no window glass. Just step outside or sit by an open window facing the morning sun for 10 to 15 minutes. Let your eyes drink in the light. Why is this important? Because morning light helps your brain suppress melatonin, the hormone that tells you to sleep, and trigger healthy cortisol levels that help you feel awake, steady, and ready. I remember a patient of mine, Mr. Harold, 76, who had been taking sleep aids for nearly 10 years. We added one simple habit: 10 minutes of morning sunlight while sipping water on his porch. After 4 weeks, he was falling asleep more easily and staying asleep longer without needing the pills. He told me, "Doc, I didn't think something so small could matter so much." And that's the beauty of it. This habit is free, gentle, and takes less time than brewing a pot of coffee. Yet it speaks to your biology in a way that no supplement can. If you live in an apartment or a cloudy area, don't worry. Even indirect light, even gray skies, are better than indoor lighting. Or you can try a light therapy lamp. Many of my patients find them helpful during winter months. So tomorrow morning, before reaching for your phone or your coffee, pause, open the blinds, step outside if you can, let the day meet your eyes. You may be surprised how much clearer your mind feels by breakfast. Let's keep going, because how you greet the day sets the tone for everything that follows. Part 2. Rewiring the heart and brain, the power of specific gratitude. After your eyes greet the morning light, the next habit I gently recommend touches something even deeper: your heart, your memories, and your sense of meaning. Let me ask you something, just between us. When was the last time you paused, not just to say "I'm grateful for my family," but to actually picture the moment your granddaughter giggled while baking cookies beside you, or the sound of your late partner humming to an old Sinatra song on Sunday mornings? You see, the brain doesn't change through vague thoughts. It changes through sensory memories, real, textured, specific experiences that leave a mark. Especially as we age, these details help us not just remember, but reconnect. That's why I encourage a simple ritual every morning. Write down 3 things you're grateful for, but with one key rule. Each one must be tied to a clear sensory detail: a smell, a sound, a touch, a color, a phrase. This isn't just about positivity, it's neuroscience. Studies from Dr. Rick Hansen and other experts in aging show that combining gratitude with specific memory recall strengthens the hippocampus, your brain's memory center, and increases serotonin, your natural mood stabilizer. One of my patients, Diane, 82, told me that when her husband passed, she felt like a ghost in her own home. She began writing one small memory each morning: the warmth of his hand on her shoulder during prayer, the clink of his spoon in his coffee cup, the softness of his laugh. Within weeks, she told me, I feel like I'm still part of the story. My life didn't end, it just shifted. And here's the magic: this practice not only softens grief and strengthens memory, but it begins to train your brain to notice beauty again. The glimmer of sunlight on the countertop, the cat brushing against your leg, the scent of cinnamon on toast. If writing is difficult due to arthritis or vision, simply speak your gratitudes aloud, or use a voice-to-text note on your phone or tablet. The key is vivid recall. So tomorrow morning, after you've welcomed the light, take a quiet moment with your tea or warm water. Think back, feel something again, and gently bring it forward. It may be the most important 5 minutes of your day. Let's keep going, because what we carry in our hearts shapes how our body heals. Part 3. First thing in the morning, the habit that quietly drains your energy. Now let me ask you this. Gently, what's the very first thing you put into your body each morning? For many of my patients, the answer is a hot cup of coffee. And I completely understand there's comfort in that ritual. The warmth, the aroma, the familiarity. It feels like a small promise that the day will be okay. But here's what I've come to realize after decades of practice. For many older adults, that very first sip, especially when taken before anything else, might be doing more harm than good. When we wake up, our bodies are naturally dehydrated. Think about it: 6 to 8 hours with no fluids. Your blood is a little thicker, your joints a bit stiffer, and your brain slightly shrunk, waiting for hydration. Now, imagine pouring caffeine into that dry system. What happens? It stresses your adrenal glands. It spikes cortisol. It asks your heart to pump harder, and it sends your digestion into overdrive before it's ready. That's why I gently recommend a small change, one that has made a big difference for many of my patients. Start your day with warm water, not caffeine. Even better, add a pinch of pink Himalayan salt and a squeeze of lemon juice. This trio, a warm base, a natural electrolyte, and gentle vitamin C, helps hydrate your tissues, wake up your gut, and reduce early morning inflammation. One gentleman I see regularly, named Calvin, 79, told me he used to wake up with tight fingers and a foggy mind. After just 2 weeks of swapping his first cup of coffee for this warm water mix, he noticed his joints felt looser and his thoughts sharper. I still love my coffee, he said with a smile, but I wait until after I've had my water. Now my body says thank you instead of help. You don't need to give up your morning brew. Just give your body the water it's asking for first. If frequent urination is a concern, start with just half a glass. Observe how your body reacts. Many older adults find that when hydration is timed properly, the body absorbs more and wastes less. And if preparing the drink feels like too much early in the day, prepare it the night before. Let the pitcher sit at room temperature. Make it part of your bedtime routine, so it's waiting to greet you in the morning. Because how you hydrate doesn't just affect your energy, it touches your heart, your brain, your digestion, and even your mood. Let's continue, because the next habit may be the quiet guardian of your balance. Strength and independence. Part 4. Awakening the body. Gentle motions before you leave the bed. There's a moment, just before we swing our legs off the bed, That often goes unnoticed, but it might be one of the most important moments of the day. You know the one I mean. Your eyes are open, your mind is slowly waking, but your body, it's unsure. The joints feel stiff, the knees ache, the feet hesitate to touch the floor. For older adults, especially those past 70, this moment is when the risk of falling is quietly at its highest. Why? Because during the night, our joints stiffen, our circulation slows, and our sense of balance, our proprioception, takes a few minutes to reboot. But what if we gave our body a little kindness before we even stood up? I encourage what I call a mobility awakening, a short 10-minute sequence of gentle movements done right in bed before the feet ever touch the floor. It begins with ankle circles, 10 in each direction for each foot, to wake up your balance sensors and get blood flowing. Then, if your hips allow, gently bring each knee toward the chest and hold for 15 seconds. Next, slow shoulder rolls forward and backward. Then soft neck turns left, right, up, down. And finally, what many of my patients now call their favorite wake-up wiggles. That's simply wiggling fingers, toes, feet, hands for 30 seconds to stimulate nerves and joint fluid. Mrs. Lillian, 84, once told me she used to dread getting out of bed. It felt like my body wasn't ready to carry me, she said. But after 2 weeks of this practice, she noticed fewer stumbles, more confidence, and a deeper sense of trust in her own body. This is an exercise. It's preparation, a way to tell your muscles, joints, and nerves, we're about to move again, and we're doing it together. If you have limited mobility, adapt what you can. Slide your feet instead of lifting. Do the neck and finger movements only. The goal isn't to do everything perfectly, it's simply to begin gently. Tomorrow morning, before your feet find the floor, take just a few minutes. Feel the weight of your blankets, breathe deeply, and offer your body a moment of care. Because how we rise says everything about how we carry ourselves through the day. Let's continue, because the next habit may just change how you feel about your place in the world. Part 5. A daily purpose. The simple act that gives life meaning again. We've stretched our bodies. We've nourished our brain. We've hydrated our cells. But there's one more thing, perhaps the most powerful of all. It's not a vitamin, not a stretch, not even a food. It's a reason. You see, as we grow older, many of the roles that once defined us begin to fade. Retired from work, children grown, friends moved or gone, and suddenly, mornings can feel quiet, empty. But the human spirit needs something to look forward to, something that says, "Today, I matter." That's why the last habit I recommend each morning is incredibly simple, yet deeply transformative. Write down one small way you'll contribute to someone else's life that day. Not someday, not eventually, just today. It could be something as small as texting a neighbor to check in, smiling at the mail carrier, sharing a memory with a grandchild, listening without interrupting, sending a short note to someone you haven't spoken to in a while. When my patient, Mr. Ellis, 88, began this habit, he was skeptical. "Doc, what can I possibly offer at my age?" But on the first morning, he decided to call his niece to wish her luck on her job interview. She cried. No one else had remembered. From there, something changed. He started making a list of ways he could quietly support others. Within weeks, he was volunteering at a local library, mentoring young readers. His mood lifted, his memory sharpened. He told me, "It's like the world opened back up." Science agrees. Studies from Rush University show that seniors with a clear sense of daily purpose experience 44% less cognitive decline and significantly lower risk of Alzheimer's disease. Other research links daily contribution to reduced inflammation, better sleep, and improved emotional well-being. But the key is it must be specific, not just "I want to help." Instead, today, I will call Mary to ask about her doctor visit. Or today, I will leave a thank you note for the pharmacy staff. This small act gives shape to your day. It tells your mind you're not just aging, you're still living, you're still giving, and the world still needs you. So tomorrow, after you've stretched, hydrated, and awakened your senses, open a small notebook or whisper to yourself, "Today, I will." Because healing doesn't just come from medicine, it comes from meaning. Let's close our morning journey with a final thought, because now we've planted the seeds for a different kind of aging, one filled with light, memory, care, and purpose. Part 6. 5 gentle habits to swap in when life feels too heavy. Not every morning will go as planned. Some days you may wake up sore, or low in spirit, or just tired of trying. That's okay, truly. We don't need to be perfect. We just need something to lean on. So here are 5 gentle swaps, small, doable changes to carry you through those harder mornings when your usual routines feel out of reach. 1. If stretching hurts, try simply breathing deeply. Just lie still, hand on your chest, and take 5 slow, conscious breaths. Let your breath do the opening from the inside out. 2. If writing gratitude feels too hard, speak it out loud to your cup of tea. Talk like you would to a friend. "Today, I'm thankful the birds are still singing." That's enough. 3. If morning light isn't available, play a favorite song from your youth. Music is light for the soul. It triggers memory, emotion, and movement. 4. If you can't give to others, allow someone to give to you. Receiving is part of connection. Accept help. Let someone bring you soup. Say yes to kindness. 5. If everything feels like too much, just put your feet on the ground and say, "I'm still here." Because you are. And that alone, some mornings, is a victory. These aren't rules. They're reminders. On the hard days, take the softer road. My dear friends, a new way to begin. So here we are. Dear friend, we've walked together through morning light and stillness, through memory and movement, through hydration, through hope, through giving and receiving. And perhaps now, the sunrise feels a little different. Not something that simply happens each day, but something you are part of, a rhythm you return to, a chance to begin again with care, not urgency. These 5 habits aren't magic. They won't turn back the clock, but they may slow its ticking. They may soften the aches. And more than anything, they may bring you back to a place of quiet dignity where you don't just survive aging, you truly live it. Start small. 1 habit, 1 glass of water, 1 step before your feet hit the floor, 1 memory, 1 kind act. Let the rest unfold. And if this video brought you some peace, some clarity, or maybe just a small spark of hope, please share it with someone you love, a friend, a sister, a neighbor who needs a reminder that life can still bloom. And I'd love to hear from you. What's 1 small habit that helps you feel alive each day? Tell me in the comments. I read everyone. Until next time, take good care of yourself. You are not behind. You are exactly where you're meant to be.